Rain slicked the streets of Shibuya, turning neon into a fractured mirror underfoot. Detective Riku Kuroda leaned against his unmarked sedan, watching crowds blur past like restless ghosts. It was 10:14 p.m., and the city hadn't stopped moving since sunrise. 3 missing in 10 days. All last seen in this district. All gone without witnesses. "Got something," said Ayaka Mori, his junior partner, hustling toward him with a file in hand. Her hair was plastered to her cheeks, the umbrella useless in the sideways rain. "Victim 3's phone records. The last message was an unknown number." Kuroda glanced at the page. Just one line, in perfect hiragana. "Do you want to disappear?" His jaw tightened. "The others?" Ayaka nodded. "Same exact text, same timestamp pattern. 2 minutes later, phone shuts off." They'd already checked. No tower pings, no SIM activity. Like the phones were swallowed by the dark. Kuroda closed his eyes for a second. This city had 1,000 ways to vanish. Gang debt, human trafficking, cults. But this felt cleaner, colder. "Pull the CCTV feeds from Center Guy," he said. "Last victim was seen near there. 9:58 p.m. last night." They drove through a maze of streets that still pulsed with life. Arcades buzzing, bars spilling light into the wet night. The scent of yakitori smoke mixing with ozone. Tokyo was a city that never hid its noise, but somewhere in the static, people were disappearing. Back at the precinct, Ayaka loaded the video. The grainy footage showed the last victim, Kenji Sato, weaving through the crowd in a black hoodie. At 9:57, he paused mid-stride, pulling his phone from his pocket. One glance at the screen and his expression shifted. Fear, curiosity, maybe both. Then, at 9:59, a figure stepped into frame behind him. Tall, dark coat, face hidden by a black mask. Kenji turned as if called, stepped toward the figure. And the camera flickered. A single second of static. When the image returned, Kenji was gone. The masked figure walked away, head down. Kuroda rewound it, played it frame by frame. That second of static bothered him more than anything. "That's not a glitch," he muttered. "That's deliberate." Ayaka frowned. "You think someone hacked the city's surveillance? Or jammed it, which means—" He stopped because the next frame revealed something he hadn't noticed before. A small red paper crane in the masked figure's hand. A calling card. The next night, Kuroda stationed himself at the edge of Center Guy, blending into the crowd in a raincoat. Ayaka monitored the CCTV van 2 blocks away. 10:12 p.m. His earpiece crackled. "Got movement. Young woman, brown jacket, just got the text." Kuroda scanned faces until he spotted her. Early 20s, clutching her phone like a lifeline, eyes darting as she read the message. "Do you want to disappear?" He saw him then. The masked figure. Same height, same coat. Red paper crane in hand. "Target in sight," Kuroda whispered. "Moving." He pushed through the throng, keeping eyes on the figure. But as he closed in, the air around him shifted. The sudden electric charge before a storm. The lights in the street flickered. For a fraction of a second, the crowd froze, like a paused video. When it moved again, both the woman and the masked figure were gone. "Kuroda!" Ayaka's voice was sharp in his ear. "CCTV just blacked out for 2 seconds." And in the puddle at his feet, the rainwater rippled around a red paper crane. Kuroda didn't sleep. He sat at his desk until dawn, replaying the scene in his mind. The blackout, the crane, the impossible way they'd both vanished without pushing through the crowd. By morning, forensics had nothing. The paper crane was clean, no prints, no residue. But its red dye was rare, traced to a specialty paper shop in Shimokitazawa. He and Ayaka visited the shop owner, a bent old man with clouded eyes. "I sold a pack last week," the man said, voice rasping. Tall fellow, foreign accent, paid cash. "Accent," Kuroda pressed. "Russian, maybe. Asked if paper could hold a signal." Ayaka frowned. Signal? The old man tapped his temple. Like a charm, a call that only certain ears can hear. It made no sense, yet the image of the frozen crowd returned to Kuroda's mind. Not fear, not confusion, just paused. That night, he reviewed every missing person file again. They had nothing in common, different ages, genders, jobs. But buried in the second victim's history was a note. She'd once been part of a fringe online forum discussing voluntary vanishing, a place where people dreamed of erasing themselves from life. The masked figure wasn't taking random people. They were answering invitations. Day 3 of the stakeout, Kuroda tried a different approach. He had Ayaka run a program to intercept the mystery text if it hit any nearby phones. At 10:09 p.m., it pinged. His own. Do you want to disappear? His heartbeat thudded in his ears. He let the message sit for 10 seconds, then typed, yes. Almost instantly, the crowd around him shimmered. Not a visual trick, more like the shift in an old film reel. The masked figure appeared at the far end of the street, walking toward him with measured steps. Kuroda, are you seeing this? Ayaka's voice was a distant echo in his earpiece. He moved forward. The figure stopped 3 feet away, lifting the red crane between them. Up close, he saw tiny metallic threads woven into the paper, antenna filaments. This is your choice, the masked man said softly in perfect Japanese. Kuroda reached for his cuffs. You're under arrest. The crane pulsed once with faint light. The street went silent. Ayaka's voice vanished. The air thickened and the world beyond the masked man blurred like wet paint. Then the ground shifted under his feet. Shibuya was gone. He was standing in a dim, cavernous space lined with empty chairs. On each seat sat a person, alive, motionless, staring straight ahead with vacant eyes. Among them were all 3 missing victims, and every one of them held a red paper crane. The masked man stepped into the shadows. Welcome to the choice you made, detective.